This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Jeff Gardner.
Welcome to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today we have another good neighbor on, Sahu of Goltikli. Sue, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me in your podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to learning more about your business. Let's start right from the top. What is it that you do, Sue?
So we run a business called Goltikli, and it is a fragrance-based wellness company where we specialize basically in premium quality scented soy wax candles, in room sprays, diffusers. But at the base of it all, it's more than just creating these scented products here. We are more into giving a chance for people. We are encouraging people to take a chance to take a break from their life, to take a pause and connect with others, take some time to reconnect with others, reconnect with the most important thing, that is ourselves, whom we have forgotten through our busy lifestyles and our busy schedules. And we are doing that actively through our candle making workshops, Lit and Luxe. And we encourage people to come and to enjoy there. And we believe that we want to challenge the stereotype in the wellness industry. And that would be, everyone thinks wellness is so boring. When it comes to wellness, they say, oh, it's luxury. I don't have time for wellness, or I don't have time for self-care. And we want to challenge that. We want to make everyone believe that, yes, wellness doesn't have to be an extravagant long list of activities you need to do, or a long vacation you would need to wait for. It is something in simple joys of life, or in simple steps, simple tweaks in our daily lifestyles can also help you do self-care or wellness.
Yeah, I love it. I come from the fitness background.
Amazing.
So nutrition, movement, sleep, kind of the main things that I studied prior to growing businesses. And certainly my passion, it's the foundation of my life, health for sure. It keeps my head right, keeps my heart full. Mm-hmm. But what was your workshop called?
Our workshop is called Lit and Luxe Candle Making Workshops.
Little Lux?
Lit and Luxe.
Oh, Lit and Luxe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. And how often does that happen?
So we schedule it, we try to do it around once a month. We work around with cafes, with venues, and we bring on these candle making workshops. And this is not just candle making, but people come in, we do we also work on making it's more of a social networking event where we encourage people, we share some thoughts with each other. Sometimes people come in with their friends or family. Then we have people from different people book. So it could be, you could be meeting new strangers, making new friends, making new connections. And we also do scent blends. The whole idea around it is to take people out of their homes and give them an opportunity to be able to network, even with people whom they don't know. And they get to do a grounding activity called as candle making and scent blending, where they get to experiment with different scents. They create a unique scent which reflects them, their identity, their personality. And using that scent, we create a candle which they uniquely personalize as themselves.
I love it. Yeah, I can imagine that being a very interactive experience and fulfilling to create something that you've never created before, seeing it actually come to life. Do you have a store? Is it a brick and mortar?
We don't have a store as of now, but we are an online store, and you can find our products also in some of the cafes. Like one in Barrie, we have stocked our products in Bloom Bistro Cafe. You can
in Bloom Bistro.
Yes.
Nalini. Yeah, we love her.
Yes.
Go there often. Okay, so you're connected with Nalini. That's great. Yes. And are you mainly in Simcoe County?
We are based out of Simcoe County, but we do not. Our workshops are spread all around. So we do have workshops in Toronto. We have workshops in Barrie. So we are more of a mobile workshop concept.
Okay, and is the workshop the focus, or is the online store?
So they both are the focus.
Okay.
So, like I said, we don't just specialize in crafting these premium candles or crafting these premium scented products, but at the base, we do want to share something beautiful with everyone, where everyone gets an opportunity to take a break from their normal schedule, and just have some, like, we don't want wellness to be boring always. We can redefine wellness as being something interesting, something vibrant, and
Mhm.
something for fun. Like, I know we stay with our family, and why not just take a chance and just step out of your house and do something different this time, that just gives you a chance to connect with even members within your family or friends whom you have known, or meet new people.
I love it. Let's talk about your story, Sue. What brought you to wanting to open up a candle and scent making online store and then go a step deeper to create these workshops, which also help us connect, not just create candles and scents, but help us connect on a deeper level with ourselves? That's a pretty meaningful philosophy to
Yes.
your business. What led you to this place? What led you
So
to doing this?
I had no plans of doing any business of any sort. I was happy with my own 9 to 5 corporate job. But like many of us, I was also stuck up. Like, it was getting very suffocating for me. My life was getting more and more challenging, because always you have to be perfect, you have to show up. And it was getting difficult to balance between different aspects, whether it was my profession, whether it was my family, whether it was my kid. So at some point of time, I felt completely suffocated, and I realized, and I used to get sick often because of all the stress and anxiety which was like part of my timetable every day. So I was like, okay, I need to take this out of my timetable, so I have to do something, and maybe I need to take a break. And for many days I used to think, oh, I need a vacation maybe. But and I kept waiting for the vacations, I kept waiting for it, and sometimes because of your schedules they just don't happen. And
Mhm.
maybe, okay, maybe I need to go to this place, or maybe I need to do this. But eventually I realized that it's not about that grand vacation or that luxury I'm waiting for. Maybe it's something simple. I could tweak my own life and do a change. Maybe take a break, take a pause, get a chance to hang out with people or hang out with my friends. Do just something different than what my normal life is. And it was at that time one of my friends introduced me to candle making, and that's when I started working more on it, and I realized the power of fragrances, how fragrances can actually affect your mood. And that's where we got into candle making, and we started doing these workshops, but on a very smaller scale. We used to do like friendly workshops here and there. And that's when it clicked me that, okay, it's not just me, that there are many more people who really miss that joy of connecting with others or doing something different from their normal schedule, which just diverts your mind at least for some time, and have some fun and go home.
I like
Something
it.
they will cherish. Yeah.
When did you start it, Sue?
We started around a couple of years back,
Yep.
right, right after the pandemic.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how's the journey been so far of working for yourself?
The journey, yes, I will not say the journey is like it's all bed of roses. I will not say that. But yes, it's been difficult. But I personally, because I have worked in a corporate job as well, and I have worked in a business as well. So I will say that this path is not a very easy one to take. It's not all the glamour which they show on social media always. But I will say it is very fulfilling, because at the end of the day, I can say that yes, I am doing something. I can make one person happy. I can impact at least one person today. And that is very, very satisfying for me.
It is, right?
Yes,
When
it
we can
is.
bring our ideas to reality and help somebody. That's
Yes.
there's not many things out there that will replace that feeling.
Yeah.
That's very cool, Sue. Let's talk about a little bit more than your journey.
Mhm.
Get into more of who you are, not just your
Mhm.
story, but I'm going to have some rapid fire questions coming your way so we can get a
Oh my
better
God.
idea. So,
Okay.
what do we want to start with first? Okay. Favorite place to go is number one. Where's your favorite place to go?
I will say I love coffee. and I love trying out all these different cafes. So
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite cafes is Common Goods, which I visit often in Barrie.
Mm-hmm. Great. Do you have a favorite destination though?
My childhood dream, I want to visit Egypt. I have not done that so
Ooh.
far, but I really, really want to do it.
Okay. I like it. What do I want to ask next? Everybody, favorite food, favorite movie, things like that. But I'm more interested. Do you have a philosophy that you follow for life? Is there some main values that like drive you, your compass, something like that? Can you
Yes.
can you share that with us?
I don't care. That's
To
my
what?
philosophy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. I
Oh,
believe that
that's your philosophy.
yes, I
Nice.
don't care. Because, like, from childhood, we have been taught, okay, this is what the societal norms are. This is what it should be. And we have been given, okay, these are your set of rules. You have to do this and you have to follow all these rules, and then you will achieve this, and then you have to follow these rules. So there are different stages in life of a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in every stage of your life, you are given certain set of rules. Okay, so this is the rule for this, and this is the rule. It's more like we are becoming machines because of these. And the problem is, even after you follow those set of rules, sometimes you still don't achieve, or you don't get that satisfaction or what you wanted. Why would I follow these rules? Because I wanted something at that stage of my life, right? So, like, I have like, I'm now living with, like, I don't care about any rules. I want to do things which I feel satisfied about and which I feel convinced about myself. Yes, in the journey, some people may like you, some people may not like you,
Sure.
but then it is what it is. At least I am happy at the end of the day, and if I am happy, everyone around me is happy. That is the philosophy.
Okay. I like it. Most important thing to you, Sue? What's the most
most
important thing?
most important thing to me
Yeah.
is, of course, my 4-year-old daughter. She's the most important thing to me right now.
I love it.
Before she was born, it was my two pups. I
Your,
just love them.
your pups?
Yes.
What kind of pups you got?
So they are 14-year-old pups, not
Wow.
very young.
Yeah.
I have a Labrador and a Golden Retriever.
Oh,
And
beautiful dogs.
when we moved from India, we got them along with us.
Okay. I like it. When did you move from India?
2018.
Okay. That must have been a journey.
Yes, that was.
Wow. Okay. So I love your philosophy. We know what's most important to you. We know the destinations. You love coffee in Egypt. And now what's the last thing I want to ask you? What am I interested in? Last couple of things. Okay. So you are a practitioner of wellness and self-care, as that's what you promote in your business. What is the thing, the non-negotiable for you? Like you said, there doesn't have to be a list of things. I remember self-care is critical for me. Again, being in the fitness world, trying to focus on my eating, spirituality, things like this, things that make me feel good about me. But there is one point in my life, Sue being 38 now, I think I was like 33,
Mm-hmm.
and I got caught up in the whirlwind of self-development online. And I was watching my mentors say, you have to do this, 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 and it'll make you feel this way. And I'm like, okay, I want to feel as good as I possibly can. We call it human optimization. Trying to get the next little inch forward and feeling better and being more effective. My morning routine was like 3.5 hours. I'd wake up, I would work out right away, then I would cold plunge, then I would steam, then I would read for a while, then I would meditate, then I would go on my walk, then I would eat. And all of
Mm-hmm.
that went from like 4 in the morning to 7:30. And I did that for a couple of years. I'm really happy that I did do that, because I found out over time the most impactful
Mm-hmm.
practices within that laundry list, and now have reduced it down to about an hour and a half. And I'm a little bit more lenient with myself. I was very strict back then. I had to do everything at that time, and kind of felt like you were saying, a little bit of a machine, a bit, not a free thinking human that constantly needs to be so rigid. So I'm a little bit more lenient with myself now. And I think I'm just as effective, if not more now than I was back then, because I think that stressed me out quite a bit. But so you were talking about that list, and I share with you what I used to do. Now it's mainly just eat right, work out in the morning, get some reading in. What is the most impactful thing for you that you will not sacrifice when it comes to wellness and self-care?
I will not say a very rigid routine, but one thing I will never negotiate, I've never negotiated my entire life, is my sleep.
Yes. That's the
Because,
big one, right?
yes, and as we are aging, I feel the more importance of sleep in my life. And I know my 4-year-old always keeps saying, huh, sleeping is so boring.
Yeah. Until
I'm
it
like,
isn't.
reach my age and you'll know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because I feel that some days, like, if I don't get my beauty sleep, so if I don't get enough of that, I just cannot perform. Like, I keep getting cranky, or things don't work out the way I want them to. Or maybe I would have scheduled something, like I want to read this, but I won't be able to because I'm already sleepy. So my whole night, I would say that because of missing one night's sleep, I will miss out 2 days of work. So for me, that 8 hours of sleep is very, very important. It's non-negotiable for me,
I love
ever.
it. Do you try to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time every day, or what's your sleep routine like?
Yes, I try to sleep and wake up the same time of the day, but I do have a young toddler. So
Right.
some days things don't work out as I plan. So I try to manage or tweak in some bits and pieces of rest here and there, but I still will say that night 8 hours of sleep needs to be non-negotiable.
I agree. Absolutely. Sleep, it's like the elixir of life. When I say I was a personal trainer for a long time, and when I would talk to my clients, I would be like, because I had a couple of people, especially entrepreneurs, 40s, 50s, 60s, they worked a lot. They were husbands or wives, and they had kids. Like, they were just busy, busy, busy. And they would say to me, Jeff, I'm coming here to get back in shape again, blah, blah, blah. But I can only get 4 hours of sleep in a night because I need the rest of the day to do everything else. It's like I need 18 or 20 hours a day to do everything I need to do. And I tried to promote to them that the less sleep you get, the less effective you are. So if you extend the amount of sleep, that 20 hours of stuff you're doing, you may only need 16 or 17 hours to do the thing. And no matter how hard you work out, no matter how well you eat, you only recover from the day in your sleep. So that we need to balance that out. So I'm glad you prioritize that. It's certainly the thing that I don't negotiate either. That and my gym time, those are the two things I will move mountains to make sure that I do them when I'm supposed to do them, because I just feel like crap otherwise. Like,
Yes,
that's
tell
it.
me about it. Yes.
Right? Tell me about it. When I don't sleep well, you don't want to be around me. And when it's gone 2-3 weeks without me working
Yeah.
out, same thing. I'm cranky, I'm grumpy, can't focus that well.
Yeah.
But this question, probably my favorite, one of my favorites, talks about the hardships. We just talked about all the things that were important to you, that you loved, that you look forward to, that you don't negotiate with. I would consider all of those things positives. But we know that the darker side of life, or the more challenging or more painful side of life, is also a non-negotiable for life. No one is not going through that. And we want to be a part of that kind of wave of people promoting the benefits of that side of life. Like, the sun wouldn't be so beneficial for us if we didn't have the darkness. Pleasure wouldn't feel so good if we didn't know what pain felt like. And certainly in the entrepreneurial journey, when I talk to some people and they achieve that thing that they have been working so hard for, sometimes there's just tears pouring down their eyes
Yes.
because they fought so hard for it. If it was easy for them, no one would care about it. I'm not a parent yet, but it's certainly the way I look at parents. I see how difficult it can be. And when you pour that much effort and you go through that much discipline and sacrifice and pain, and then you see your child achieve something meaningful, I imagine it's just heart melting because you've poured so much effort into it. So here's the question for you. Are there any hardships, trials, tribulations, personal or business or both, that you've been through that you're comfortable with sharing with us, that most importantly, you went through it, probably sucked to go through it, maybe didn't even have a choice to go through it, or maybe you chose to go through it. But ultimately, when you look back in hindsight, you can say confidently, I wouldn't remove that ingredient from my life because it's led me to being who I am today. Essentially, I went through something really hard. It sucked, but now it's made me better.
Yeah.
Anything you can share with us on that?
Yes, yes, and it is very much related to my business. So, as I was saying, I was initially in a 9 to 5 corporate job, and that's how I started my career. And have you heard about the term high functioning burnout? I
Definitely.
basically faced that. So, and it all started like many of us have experienced moments of stress, especially during the pandemic. And that's when you never had working hours, and that's when we had a baby. And it was almost like I was becoming high functioning in all my areas, whether it was anything work related or anything related to my baby. So I wasn't able to balance it, honestly. I had no clue. My parents couldn't come in from India to support us, and it was just me and my husband, and we were managing things. I don't know how. I when I look back, I really don't know how we did it. And at some point of time, I really felt the burn of that burnout, because it is not a good space to be, and it was all downhill from there. Like there was no coming up from there. Like I almost felt at some point like it's all gone, like this is what my life is. And that's when you really need good friends, or your family next to you. And that's when somebody just introduced me like, hey, why don't you try some activity? And later in the process, I realized that there is something called as grounding activity, especially given to people who are in high stress, or they are experiencing isolation in their lives. So this grounding activity, what it does, it at a moment where you are experiencing very high stress, at some, say you are busy in your whole life, and at some point I felt like, oh no, I can't do it anymore, and I'm feeling upset, or I'm feeling sad. So there in you should cling on to something called as a grounding activity. Now what this grounding activity does is it moves all your five senses, that's your sight, your nose, your mouth, everything, and it focuses onto that activity. So basically you let your stress out using that specific creative outlet in your mind, and that focuses you to that problem or that particular activity, whether it's candle making, you want to do painting, you want to do anything of your choice. And that helps you take a step back or take a pause at that moment of time. So I started doing making these candles with my husband. Actually both of us loved enjoying doing that, and we started experimenting these fragrances, and that's how all this whole story of Goltikli also started from there. And we verged into this whole candle making and candle making workshops. And through our workshops we met so many new people in our lives, and that was the best part of starting this business, I feel. And it's been a wonderful journey. Like whatever it's been so far, it's been an amazing journey for me.
Love hearing that. I love hearing that. Grounding activities, absolutely. Being in tune with your senses rather
Yeah,
than being lost in thought and
yeah,
just ruminating. Often stress pops up in the form of emotion or thought,
yeah.
usually combination of the two.
Stress is first created in the mind, and then it flows down. So if you leave your mind, it can do wonders. Like it wouldn't be that stressful a situation, but your mind can make you believe that it's worse than that. So
Oh,
at
yeah.
that point, just focus on something else, take a break, and then go back to whatever you were doing. I think that works best.
Love it. I love it. What's one thing you wish our listeners knew about your business? If you could speak to them directly, what is the main thing you want them to know?
Okay, so Goltikli is more on, we are focusing on creating these premium scented products, which would be soy candles or room sprays or diffusers and many more on that line. But our main focus is behind all of this is to make you appreciate the simple joys of life. Take a pause today and take a break and try to reconnect, not just with everyone around you, but also don't forget yourself. Take a break from your phones, from social media, and take some time to connect with the real you.
I love it. And how can our listeners find out about you, Sue?
Yes, so you can find us in our online shop, goltikli.com, but it is under construction right now. We are trying to enhance the user experience there. So you could also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, where we share our updates, our highlights, or some tips and tricks on wellness on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are in Bari, then you can also find our products at Bloom Bistro.
At Bloom Bistro. I love it. Last question. It's not in the questionnaire. I like to keep it my secret question.
Oh my God, I'm
I have
scared.
most I have most of my rules for life on
Oh,
my arm here. I like to say I take life very seriously so that I can enjoy it at the highest level. So I have all the reminders there. These points answer most of the problems in my life. And they're also my values on there. So I know who I want to be in all moments and try my best to be that person. One of the things that is on there is impact. It reminds me that I'm a human being and my life is interconnected with everybody else's life. It's
true.
not just my life that I'm living in my world and my wants and my desires. Every action or inaction that I take affects many other people, probably way beyond what I can see. I mean, even a simple smile. If I walk past you on a walkway and I do something that makes you smile and that uplifts your energy, and then you walk into the coffee shop and you're a little happier and you make the barista a little happier, and then she makes this person and that could go on for thousands of people from
Yeah.
just a smile. So I like to be very cognizant of my impact on the world and what is that impact. I like to be very specific about it, and it is the thing that drives me. I want to make the world a better place in the ways that I can, in my image type of thing, the skills that I possess, and it pulls me out of that selfish headspace, puts me into a more selfless headspace, and just makes me feel much better about my work and being a human in general. So I love to ask the guests on the show. It's one of the things I'm most curious about. Are people even thinking about this? Many of them do. What are their answers like? And the question is this, Sue, what do you want your impact to be?
Okay. So I believe that each of us is an energy, and everyone who is touching your life is getting a share of that energy from you. So say I'm not behaving properly with you, or I don't like you and I don't want to be good to you. So you take that energy from me, and then you would sit and think, okay, what's wrong? Why is Sue even behaving like this? I was just trying to be nice to her and she just did. And then you will sit and think about this for some time, and then say you go back to your home and just talk to your wife, and because my behavior was there in the back of your mind, your wife just says something to you, and you just out, it was not intentional, but for some reason or the other you give that energy to her,
Mhm.
and you get on a fight. Now you have kids at home, so your wife goes to your kid, and your kid, because she didn't like the way you behaved with her, so what she does is somehow by an accident she just screams at the kids, and then the kid, he does it to his friend. So it's like, you understand, right? It's like an array of activities which are going on, and it all started because of you. And maybe it didn't even start because of me. Maybe I was in a bad mood because somebody else screamed at me.
Right.
So I believe that you are the energy, and even if however bad a day you have, just try to be nice to the next person, so that you just don't keep spreading or exponentially that sorrow or that grief or that bad mood to everyone else.
I love it. So essentially, we are all connected in one way or
Exactly.
another, and our energy is the dictator of that connection. So
Yeah.
if I'm positive, that energy
Yeah.
will spread on to others, and to be aware of that. And if I'm
Yeah.
negative, that energy will spread on to others.
So
So
basically, you as a person is very powerful. Think about yourself as a very powerful person who can affect the energy of 100 people around you. It
yeah,
goes on like that.
I love it. You're the first to say that before, and it's a very interesting concept. Sue, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. I like your story. Very easy to speak to, but the fact that you went from corporate and that high functioning burnout, I think it's something a lot of us entrepreneurs resonate with. I think we are in a very fast moving society with a lot of expectations, and sometimes we can get caught up in that. I want this person to see me this way, so I have to reach these standards when maybe they're not even our own standards. If we just try to be good to ourselves, focus on giving a little bit, taking moments for ourselves, like you said, I think maybe we can make the world a little bit of a better place and not get caught up in that burnout where you're just kind of tapped out. The walls feel like they're closing in. But I appreciate you sharing that story. I think it will resonate with a lot of people. And if there's any last words, please let us know. Otherwise, I look forward to chatting with you again, Sue.
Have a good day and spread your smiles.
Yes, that's the best last words. Thank you, Sue. Really appreciate you coming on the show. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpwithjeffandsean.com. That's gnpwithjeffandsean.com or call 705-413-3775.